Middara encapsulates everything that a big box board game title should. It's got a gigantic box full of tons of tokens that you have no idea what they do. You've got this huge tome of pictures and basically a novel contained in this thing. You've got all of these miniatures that are honestly really cool and well made. You've got like 5 different manuals, all of these different map pieces. It can be a little overwhelming at times, but if you're looking for another Gloomhaven-sized campaign-style game, you can't really go wrong with Middara. At its core, this is meant to simulate something like Final Fantasy in a board game experience. You've got the anime-style art of the different characters. You've got an ongoing narrative in which members of your party will join your team or leave your team at different intervals depending on narrative necessity. You have basically dungeon crawl style combat in the same vein as something like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, and you have a lot of long-winded storytelling. Thankfully, the company has provided methods of experiencing the story for everyone. There's audio tracks for the different scenes. There are also spark notes where you can just kind of skip the story altogether and get the nitty-gritty of what's going on before you enter the next scenario. The fact that there are a number of options to streamline the experience to your tastes is huge. And I think that makes this game stand out from a lot of others. Everything here provides you with choices, which is kind of funny because the story, to a certain degree, pretends to give you choices. At its core, the narrative is pretty much on rails. You've got a very straightforward story that's going to take you from plot point to plot point, and there are some divergence options for you to take. I'm not going to really get into it because I don't want to spoil what's in here for you, but 9 times out of 10, those narrative options won't change anything long term. Each scenario is going to be a Final Fantasy style top-down map where you're adventuring through the scene trying to find different hidden items or objects, and the game does this in a really smart way by using this little rectangle here that allows you to see hidden pieces of text on the pages. So you can't accidentally read what's going to happen. You have to go out of your way to highlight the text to see, if I open this box, what's going to happen, which is a really neat mechanic, and it's really smart to provide players with the ability to have surprises. The combat system is fairly involved. There's a lot of positioning and what weapons you have equipped, and then which dice you have to use for those weapons, and then there's different symbols on the dice that you roll, and there's ranged attacks, and there's melee attacks, and there's magic attacks, and there's counters and different stat buffs or debuffs and all of this different stuff, and it can feel overwhelming for sure. This is a game with a lot of stuff, and that means that there's a lot of mechanical stuff as well, and that can be tiresome. That can take a lot out of a player, and if you're not prepared for something as I don't want to use the word involved again, but as involved as this, you're going to have a frustrating time on occasion. The production quality on this game is phenomenal. These ringed binders feel great to handle, and the pages turn very easily, and I never really worry about anything getting damaged. Everything's just very well made. The minis I've started painting because they're just so cool, and they feel great to handle and to interact with. Moving them across the board just feels intuitive, and there's these gigantic sort of, beasts that really have a presence on the board when you're interacting with them. So there's a lot of great tactile feel to the game. The biggest caveat that I have for this game is that this is Act 1 of a 3-part story, and this book is already going to take you at least a year to get through realistically, and then you're left with a potential cliffhanger for the next book, and that can leave some players unsatisfied. Understandably so. You know, when you read a book, you want to feel like you got your money's worth out of this book, even though it's a part of a whole trilogy. And considering how much content is here, I think if you make it through all of this, you will definitely feel like you got your money's worth. But for some people, I think this is already going to be too much game. I think some people are just going to want to have it all in one box, like Gloomhaven provides you with one whole experience in a single purchase. The other big issue that I personally have with the game is there's player elimination mechanics at play. Luckily, the game does provide an alternate mode to prevent player elimination or to mitigate it, which is very nice. Again, huge customization options by Succubus Publishing, so good on them for that. But if you're playing this as it's intended, that is something that you will have to deal with. If you look at Middara and see all of the fan service style art and the big minis on a, you know, top-down combat style board where you're rolling chunky dice to see who wins in each fight, if that's something that appeals to you, boom, this is an easy purchase for you. Go out and get this game. It's going to be seeing a new Kickstarter launch for a second printing in a month, I believe, or so. I'm gonna put the date right here because I don't remember. There's gonna be a new printing of it. If this is something that looks appealing to you at first glance, this is the game for you. Go out and get it. For someone like me, I definitely don't have the time to sink into a game like this of such magnitude, but I'm impressed by how much care and affection and passion went into this project as a whole. So yeah, I mean, that's Middara in a nutshell. Thank you for stopping into the Cardboard Herald. Check out our stuff if you enjoy this style of review, if you enjoy the kind of stuff that we cover. Let me know what kind of reviews you want to see in the future. And bye. I don't know how to end Don't give me that look. I don't know how to end things.
If you enjoyed this video, we have all kinds of other reviews, interviews, and recommendations via writing, podcast, and video here on our channel and website cardboardherald.com. Our content is audience supported, so if you want to show your support, please visit our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Cardboard Herald.